Hey folks, Sheila here from Design Files. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how you can cut that workload in half. Because more often than not, when I ask a designer what they struggle with most when it comes to their design business, the answer is time management. There's always a million things to take care of and never enough time to get it all done. So if running your design business has you feeling like this, let me ask you one quick question. Are you having to use multiple programs in order to complete your work? Because if your answer is yes, you're easily and unnecessarily doubling your workload by forcing yourself to repeat the same time-consuming tasks over and over again for each program that you use. So if you're tired of feeling like this and you're tired of working way harder than you need to, then please keep watching. Because in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can complete all 6 of these tasks in under 40 minutes, all by having your essential design tools in one smart program where they can share information and start to do your work for you. And to begin with, we're going to start with design boards. Now, as a designer, it's so important that you're able to get from idea to design board in the shortest amount of time possible, so you can really maximize on your profits. And that's why our team has spent an enormous amount of time really streamlining the design board creation process. Now, with the Design Files editor, you're going to be able to quickly pull together clean and professional mood board designs, like the one you're seeing on the screen right now. And if you do choose to create design boards like this, you can also upload floor plan images to show your client how these products are going to fit within their space. Or you can build out full room designs, like this one right here. And to show you how quick and easy it can be to pull together a room like this, we're going to create one for this video. So I'm going to start by dragging out an empty room image from the Design Files library. Now, if you actually have images of your client's space, you can of course upload those images or any renderings you have directly to your own personal library over here. Just click the upload button, you can go ahead, grab that file from your computer, and when you save it to your library, you'll drag that out onto your design board and use it as the backdrop for your design. Once that's in place, you can start dragging on products. Now, the Design Files editor actually comes with a full product library. And this library has close to 1 million products in it. So all you have to do is look for a particular type of item. So I'll look for a floor lamp here. We'll punch that in, and it's going to bring up all the options we have across all the vendors we're working with. So all you have to do is scroll down, and when you find one that you like, you can just drag it out onto your design board and scale it into place. And when you add an item to your design board, the cost of this item is added to the overall total up here. So that'll help you stay on budget. Now, if you prefer, you can browse by vendor. These are the vendors we're currently working with, and we'll continue to add to this library. And of course, if any of these vendors, or if these vendors are just not the vendors that you typically like to pull products from, that's fine too. You can also build out your own personal product library based on all of your preferred vendors. And you can do that in 2 ways. You can choose to upload any images that you have on your computer. So if you want, go ahead and grab that product image from your computer, and when you save it here, you'll be given the opportunity to include the product name, vendor, source link, price, and description. And you can tie all that information directly to the product. Or you can use our browser clipper, which will be a huge time saver for you and allow you to grab images from anywhere online and save them directly to your Design Files library, where you can add them onto your boards. So in this case, let's say I want to grab this chair from Crate & Barrel. All I need to do is click on the Add to Design Files option in my bookmarks bar, and my clipper is going to expand out from the right side of the screen. Now, it's already grabbed the image, it's grabbed the product name, the vendor, the source link. So all I really need to do down here is grab the price. I'm just going to click on this icon that's next to the price field, and then click on the price, and it'll fill it in for me. And if I had a trade account with this particular vendor, I could add in the trade price that I can get this product for, include my markup, and the system will calculate the client-facing price for me. Below that, we've got the SKU number, dimensions, material and finish, and I can even grab the product description here. So here it is on the page. I'm just going to click on this icon again, click on the description, and everything fills in for me. Now, as a final step, all I need to do is really decide where I want to save this product. So I could save it to my main library, which means I'll have access to this product across any client project that I create in Design Files. Or I could also save it to an individual client project as well, if I just want to create a nice clean curated list of items that I want to use for a specific project. So I'll go ahead and save it to both, and we'll just save this item. Now that that's saved, I can hop back over to my Design Files account, into the editor, and I'm already in my library tab right here, so I'm just going to hit the refresh button right here, and there it is. I can drag this item out onto my design board and start building out my design. So the nice thing about saving your items directly to the program that you're using is that, if you were to use multiple programs here, you might need to grab images, save them to your computer, and then add those images again to any of the programs that you want to use to create your design boards, your tear sheets, your proposals, etc. You're eliminating that additional step by using Design Files. You can save directly to the source, save it once, and use it for any of those other tasks that you need to complete. That's the benefit of having all your essential tools in one platform. So let's go ahead and we'll pull together a design board here. And I've already pulled some items that I want to use within this design. All I'm going to do is start dragging these items out onto my design board and just basically start building out my design. Now you'll notice that when I drag an item out onto my design board, that white background that the product is shot on is automatically removed for me. So I don't have to waste any time tracing around each and every item before I can get to work on building out my room design. Over here in the toolbar, I've got additional tools that will help me flip the product, scale it, crop it, anything like that to really build out a nice clean mood board design. And I'll go over a number of those tools as we build out this design board. So again, I'm just going to start dragging some more products out here. We've got the coffee table. And I'm going to start, let's see here, where's that rug? Here we go. So I've got this rug here that I want to use within this design, but it's got a little bit of a rough edge here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the crop tool right here, and I'm just going to pull on these corners and pull them in just a smidge so I can kind of cut off any of that rough shadowed edge on the bottom. Okay, so I've got a nice clean design here. Now I'm going to rotate this rug around, slide it into place, and I can see that I just need to clean this image up just a smidge. This is pulling out a little bit of the white background. Now, as I mentioned, with Design Files, it automatically pulls out the white background. Sometimes that might compromise the image a little bit, but it's an easy fix. All you have to do is go over into the background removal tool, pull this toggle all the way to the left. It'll bring the full image back in, save it, and now I've cleaned it up completely and I'm good to go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Distort tool right here, and that's going to let me pull on the individual corners for this rug so I can make this look like it's lying flat on the floor. We'll just pull this down bit by bit and get it exactly where I want it to be. Right about here. Okay, so now that that's in place, I'll hit apply. And I need to get this rug below all the other furniture pieces that I've added to this space. So I'm going to go over to my toolbar again, click on this option right here. I'm up here for my layer tools. I'm going to click on this option that will push the rug all the way to the bottom layer. So it's going to go behind the empty room image. And then I'm just going to bring it forward one. And there it is. So now this is perfectly in place and I can keep moving forward with the rest of my design. So I'm going to bring out this dining table here. And I'm just going to create a dining space on the opposite half of this room. So we'll go behind the sofa over here. Again, I'm going to use the layer tools to push this all the way to the bottom and bring it forward one, and then I'll just kind of scale this into place. And then I can start adding in my dining chairs. So we'll start with this version of it right here. Now you can see that I've got the dining chair from the back view, the side view, and the front view. Now I'll show you exactly what I did here. So I'm just going to go over to the vendor site where I grabbed this first image. And a lot of the vendors these days will provide their products shot on multiple angles. So you can see here that this first image is kind of the front side view of the chair. If I use this arrow right here, I can see the side view, the front view, and the back view. And all I did was use that browser clipper to grab each view of the chair, save it directly to my Design Files account. Now that I have that, I can just start using each one of those images to build out a more realistic room design. So I'm just going to kind of slide this roughly into place. And again, just go back to the layering tools, push it all the way to the bottom layer, and bring it forward one layer at a time until it's sitting in front of the table but behind all of the living room furniture. Now that I have that, I'm just going to duplicate this chair so I get the exact same size, slide it over, push it back, bring it forward. Duplicate it, slide it over, push it back, bring it forward. We'll do the same thing with the side view. So I'm going to add this to the end of the table. So we'll scale this down into place right about here. And again, push it back, bring it forward, duplicate it, flip it, slide it over, push it back, bring it forward. And now I can grab the front-facing views, and we'll do the other side of the table. Scale this down. I'm gonna make it slightly smaller because it's a little bit farther into the background. So again, push it back, bring it forward, and I'll just scale that down just a bit more. That looks more like it. And again, we're gonna duplicate this because I wanna make sure I get the same size chair for each one of these. Push it back, bring it forward, duplicate it, slide it into place, push it back, bring it forward. There we go. Now I can start bringing in some light fixtures. So we'll drag in this one. And I'm just gonna scale this down and quickly get this into place. Just above my dining table. And this one right here for the living room space. Okay, perfect. So we'll scale this down. I'm gonna flip this, slide it over here, kind of behind the sofa where I want it to be. And then I'm going to use the layering tools again. In this case, I'm just gonna hit this one to move it back one layer at a time until I get it right where I want it to be. Perfect. And I'm also gonna use the crop tool because I just wanna crop off that plug there. We don't need that as part of the design. So we'll just grab the corner here and I'm just gonna pull it over so I can cut off that cord there. And then I'm gonna hit save. And then from here, I can just kind of slide this into place until I have it exactly where I want it to be. Okay, now let's see here. We'll bring in some pillows. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring in this pillow here. Now right here, you can see that a little bit of the image has been pulled out because it was a bit white. So again, quick and easy fix. Just hop over to the background removal tool, pull this toggle a little bit to the left to fill in the product image again, save that. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna get rid of this shadow here because I don't want that. So we'll hit into the crop tool again, and I'm just gonna pull on these corners and cut off the bottom of that pillow so that it looks like it's sitting flat on the sofa. So scale this down and slide it into place. And I'll do the same thing with this pillow right here. So I'm just gonna quickly clean it up a little bit, pull that toggle over, okay? Save that, cut the bottom off so it has a nice clean edge. So just crop that, save it, and again, just slide it down and slide it into place. And from here, let's see, I'll add some flowers to the table and just kind of add a few decorative elements to really build out the design. So I'll add some flowers, and I believe I have a houseplant here. Let's see, yeah, this one right here. Get a little greenery in this design. So I'll scale this down and tuck it away into this bottom corner here. Again, push it all the way back, bring it forward one. And let's see here, where's that layer of book? Okay, here we go. So this is kind of a fun image to have available in your library because basically all I do is I keep this on hand and it allows me to add books to any bookshelves or to the coffee table just as an added element for my design board. So I have a variety of options to choose from. I'm just gonna click on that crop tool again and I'll just pick the selection that I want for this specific design board. Okay, perfect. So we'll just grab this and we'll slide this into place. And then what I'm gonna do is I'll grab this item right here. So just some little decorative elements, but in this case, I actually wanna grab these one at a time. So I'm gonna go into the background removal tool and I'm just going to switch over to the manual option. And from here, I'm gonna trace all the way around this product. And I don't have to be entirely accurate here because I can adjust any of these points after the fact. So once I close this line off, you can see how you can pull on the individual corners and you can just readjust your line. We'll save that. I'm gonna scale this into place and just add it to the coffee table. Just kind of place them randomly on the coffee table. Slide this over a little bit. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do, now that I have this one in place, I'm going to duplicate that, back to the background removal tool. I'm gonna hit reset, And now I'm gonna grab this one. So now I can just kind of quickly trace around this item right here and add this one to my design board as well. Again, I'm not being like overly accurate here when tracing around the item because I can always readjust my points after the fact, although that's pretty good. Save this item, and then I can add this one to my design board as well. And that's it. So not too much time at all, and we're able to pull together a full room design. And just so you know, if you need it, there's also a full paint color library here as well. These are the collections that we're working with. If you want to start adding paint to your design boards, for instance, in this case over here, if you wanted to add a color scheme down the side of your design board, you could just pop right into the paint color library, go straight into one of these collections. When you find a color you like, drag it out onto your design board, and you can either scale it down to create a color scheme down the side of your design board, or you could choose to scale it up, like I've done with this one right here, to fill the entire wall of the space. And that will help your clients really see how these colors are going to fit within their design. Now I'm going to go back to the board that we just created here, and I'm going to save this board. And once we have that saved, I'll show you how having all of your tools connected in one program really starts to kick into gear and help you complete those tasks in a much faster time. All right, so now that we have this design board saved, I've gone back to the project view, and by saving this design board, my full product list is automatically generated for me. So I don't have to spend any time whatsoever pulling this together. The product list is going to include every single item that I added to my design board, full product details, shop links, quantities needed, and the overall cost for this design. Now, as a designer, you have a lot of flexibility here because let's say this is a project where you want to let the client come in and shop the look themselves. If that's the case, great. Leave your shopping list completely as it is and scroll to the top of the page. You can submit this design to your client by clicking this button right here, and you'll be able to add in their email address to this field. You can add any message you like, so if there's something particular you want to address with your client, add it in here. And then you can choose to submit just this design that we're hovering over now, or you could choose to submit all the design boards that you've created in this project to your client in one email. When you do that, we are going to send an email out to your client. That email is going to be branded to your business, and it's just going to have a simple message in it that says, designs are ready for you to review, come on in and check them out. Your client will click on that link and they'll be brought into their version of the project page. They won't have access to any of the controls that you have access to, but they'll be able to review the design boards, and they can scroll down here to the product list where they can review each product. They can click on any of these shop links and they'll be redirected to the retailer site where they can purchase the item. Or if this is a case where you want to be in control of ordering the product and you don't want to allow your client to shop the look themselves, you can switch over to this option right here. This is manage what your client sees. And from here, you can choose to hide product-specific details from your client. So you might want to hide the product names from your client so they can't take that name, Google it, and try to source it themselves. And you can also replace the shop links with approve and reject buttons. Now when you do this, if you just want to see what that looks like before you invite your client in, you can switch over to preview the project as a client. And now that we're in the client-facing mode, I can just scroll down here and you can see that when you invite your client in, they're not going to see any product names. All they're going to see are the product images, the price, and approve and reject links. So they can quickly go through, they can approve items for order and reject other items they want to see another option for, and they can also leave feedback on any of these items as well. So if they love this sectional but they don't really love the color, they can just click right here, type in their message, and when they post that message, an email notification is automatically sent to you to let you know that your client left feedback and you should come on in and review. Now, the great thing about allowing your client to leave feedback here in this program is that all of the conversations that you have about this project will be saved directly to the project. So you're not going to have to go through 15 and 20 different Skype and email messages trying to figure out where you last left off in the project. Everything is right here, and you can pull it up whenever you need to reference it. Now, if you don't actually want to invite the client into the program and you just want to send them some documents to review, you also have a couple of options available to you. So right here, let's say you wanted to just quickly pull together a tear sheet. If you wanted a tear sheet for this chair right here, you can click into this menu At the bottom, you have the option to download the tear sheet as a PDF. But before you do that, you can actually decide what product details you want to include within the tear sheet. All you have to do is turn these toggles on to hide any of the product details that you want to hide from your client. So in this case, I'll continue to hide the product name, and I definitely don't want them to have a shop link. So I'm going to download this tear sheet, and DesignFiles is automatically going to create that for you. So again, you're not having to spend any time pulling together these documents. They are quickly generated based on the items that you have already added to this project. So it'll have your logo, your contact details, an image of the product, and the product specs that you want your client to see. You can also choose to download a full PDF presentation that includes design boards and the full product list. And to do that, you would just go into this menu up here. You can download the client presentation as a PDF. And from here, it's going to pull up all the design boards that you've created within the project and all the product lists that are associated with each of those designs. So you could choose to send everything to your client if you wanted to, or you can get really specific. And you can narrow it down to a few key design boards and a specific product list, which is probably always a good idea because you don't want to send too much and overwhelm your client. Now you can switch between portrait view or landscape, and then you can generate your presentation. And again, the DesignFiles system is going to generate it for you. So this is another document where you do not have to spend any time whatsoever pulling it together. Every page will be branded to your business with your logo and your contact details. You've got your first design board, the overall cost of that design, the floor plan image, and your entire product list. So from here, you could download this document and you can just email this out directly to your client. So we're making our way through this project. So let's say that you've gotten approval on the products here from your client, they've given you the thumbs up and they're ready to go, and you just need to get that invoice generated now. To do that, you can just hop directly over here to where it says Invoices. That's going to take you straight into the invoice overview page, where you'll see all the other invoices that you've created for this client. You'll see which ones are drafts, which ones have been submitted, which ones have been paid, and the date they were paid on. And if you just want to spin up a new one, you can click the button right here to create an invoice. That's going to bring you right into the invoice template where you can start adding in all of the details. So you can start by adding in your client's name, your invoice ID, your issue date, the terms for payment. So if you want to be paid within 30 days, set the net to 30. You can add in the appropriate tax amount for this project, and you can add in your client's contact details. So we'll just add in an address here. Save that. And now that I have that, I can start adding products from the project. So you'll do that by clicking this button right here. Now what's great about this is that it's going to pull up a list of products that you have used for this specific project. So it's already filtering the list down for you. And you can filter it further by vendor or by keyword. But the best filter is right over here, because you can actually filter it down by all the approved products. So if you've given your client the opportunity to come on in and approve items for order and reject other items, you can narrow it down to every single item that the client has already given you the thumbs up on, and then you can select all of these and immediately add them to your invoice. And again, because all the information is already saved to this system, we can start pre-populating the invoice for you and fill in those fields so that you don't have to spend the time doing this. So you've got a small image of the actual product, the product name, the unit price, quantities needed, your markup, client-facing price. You've added in the appropriate tax for this project right here. So if you want that tax amount added to every single item in your invoice, just click this checkbox right here and we'll automatically add it in. And then you can also include in any additional shipping costs that are tied to these products. We did include a notes field here, so if there are additional notes that you want to add to this invoice to bring to your client's attention, you can absolutely add them in here. At the bottom, you'll see your subtotal, your taxes, your shipping costs, and your grand total. And if you need to add anything else to your invoice, like the hours that you spent on this project, you can click this button right here to add a manual line item. So from here, it'll bring up another line item and I can start adding in what I want. So in this case, I'll say design hours. I can add in my hourly rate. I can add in the number of hours that I spent on this project, include the taxes, and everything's calculated for me. So you might want to do this for maybe you have a flat rate for floor plan images or anything like that. And as a final step, you can decide how you want to get paid by this client. If If you want to get paid by credit card, leave this toggle on, and when you send them this invoice, they'll be able to log on, click the button to pay by credit card, fill in their details, and you'll get paid immediately. If you prefer not to get paid by credit card, just turn this toggle off, and you can use this field right here to add in any notes you want. So maybe you just want to indicate that you want to get paid by PayPal, or maybe it's a direct deposit. Whatever it is, you can add in the details that you want here to help that client understand how they're going to make that payment to you. And when you're ready, you can save this invoice as a draft and preview it. And it'll look like this. So again, your logo, your invoice details, your contact details, and your client's contact details, the full breakdown for your invoice, and the total right here. If you're good to go and you're ready to send this one out to your client, you can exit out of the preview, scroll down to the bottom of the page here, and click this button right here to send this invoice over to your client. Once you've accepted the payment, you can get straight into creating your purchase orders. So we'll scroll back up to the top of the page, and we're going to jump over into the purchase order field now. Now that's going to take me directly to my purchase orders overview page, where I can see any other purchase orders that I have created for this particular client. And if I wanted to create a new purchase order, I can click this button right here. If I want to view or edit any of the current purchase orders that I've created, I can just click directly in here and it'll bring me straight to it. And it's the same setup as the invoice feature on Design Files as well. And again, because all the information is already saved to the system, that means we can pre-populate the fields for you here. So again, you're not having to spend that time manually inputting all these product details each and every time for every task that you need to complete, which is what you're being forced to do if you use multiple programs. So if you have a program for creating your design boards, and you have a program for creating your invoices, and one for your purchase orders, and one for whatever, every single time you jump over to that new program, that means you have to repeat the task of uploading all of those product details manually every single time. That just chalks up to a colossal waste of hours. But when you have all of your design tools in one program where they can communicate with each other, it eliminates that task. So we can get straight to work, we can pre-populate all these fields for you, and that means that you can churn out these tasks in minutes instead of a half hour, an hour, whatever the case may be. Let's cut that time down so you can get right to work on the next client project, or better yet, actually have some time at the end of the night to relax and enjoy yourself. So you can see here that with the purchase order fields, it's basically the same setup as the invoice feature. We just have additional fields here that the vendor is going to need. So there is a field where you can include the vendor's name. There is a field for a side mark. So if you just want to put a quick reference for the project you're working on, you can add that in. And within each individual line item, you have additional fields here as well. So we've got the SKU number, the dimensions for the product, the material and finish that you're going to want to indicate so your vendor knows exactly which item you're referencing, and you can add any additional notes as well. So it might be a case where your client wants the white glove delivery, or maybe you just don't want these products delivered until a specific date. Whatever the case is, you can add all those notes here. When you're done, you can go ahead and you can save your purchase order. Once that's saved, I can go back into this menu right here. I'm going to download this as a PDF. And now that that's ready, I can literally download this to my computer and send that off to the vendor, and I'm done. So there you have it. In the time it took me to create this video, I was able to create a full RAM design, generate the entire product list, create branded tear sheets, branded PDF presentations, generate the invoice, generate the purchase order, and have a means to communicate with the client. That's the benefit of having all of your essential tools in one program, where the information can get shared and the system can actually start to do your work for you. It can pre-populate the forms and just cut out all the extra time it takes you to manually add in all those product details each and every time you want to complete a task. So if you're looking for a faster and more efficient way to run your design business, hop over to www.DesignFiles.co and sign up for a trial account. You'll be amazed at how many hours you could literally be saving on each and every one of your projects. And of course, if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to our team. We're here to help you in any way we can. Thanks for watching.